Morning. It's Jewel Fitzgerald back for Monday's admissions from the heart. So glad you're back. I'm sure you've probably noticed by now, we've been into this 2 months, that I have a tendency that my hair changes. You've probably seen it long, you've seen it short, you've seen it all kind of ways. Today you can see it a little shorter than it was last week. Right now it's in this um, style where there are pipe cleaners in my locks, and the hair is actually wrapped around the pipe cleaner. So it makes my hair look shorter than it really is. Because normally my hair is shoulder length or just be tad below the middle of my back. But right now it's short because it's in this style. And I have a tendency to change styles all the time. So that's where we are today. So I turned 68 last week and I got my hair done today so I can have this nice little style for a few weeks. So let's just talk about things that's something that we all are involved with, mainly women, because we always have this hair journey. Because, as women, we need to change up. We need to look good with our hair. And the hair is the first thing you see when you see somebody. So let's just talk about my hair journey, which may relate to yours as well. Alrighty, so my hair beginnings was from being a child. I got 68 years in. That must have been real fun with my parents because they had to wash and comb the hair all the time. And it started out as braids. They put it in braids, made it easy, nice and cute. So my mom and whoever else did that made me have nice, beautiful braids, nice parts and whatnot. And then I started getting a little older, and my mother started sending me to a what do you call it? A hair professional, a hairdresser. That's the word I'm looking for, a hairdresser. It's funny how words just slip your brain even though you use them all the time. Anyway, so she would send me to a hairdresser because I'm sure it was getting to be a bit much trying to do my hair. So that started my journey with hairdressers just because she put me in one. Anyway, so in the beginning, they may have blow dried it just to make the braids to be easier, and did a lot of different things from childhood to adulthood, since I was in this relationship with hairdressers. I did all kind of things. I had a blow dry it. Sometimes it would just be purely blow dried and it just would hang. So this style here, I'm trying to remember it. It might be a blow dry thing, and it might have been a press and curl. So right now I'm thinking, just looking at it, because this picture happened 11 years ago when I was actually 13 years ago. Wow, time is going fast. I was still working for the government. So this was the year my last year, 13 years. Anyway, so 13 years ago, it was still blow dried and pressed and curl. So I'm thinking it might have been a combination of both, because they would wash it, blow dry it, and then press and curl it. So press and curl it means they would take a hot comb, a metal hot comb, put it in a hot stove, or if it was in your house, you would just put it on the eye of the stove, electric stove. Electric stove or a gas stove. Actually, I bet people electric probably did it too. I don't know because I've never had an electric stove. I only had a gas, where we put that hot comb in that gas in the electric in the fire. But anyway, either way, you put it into a device that makes a metal hot. The person would take that hot comb and comb your hair with it, just like you were combing it with a brush, just like you was combing it with a comb. Take this hot comb and drive it through your hair. I like this word, drive it through your hair. It's not really a drive. Probably kids have felt like it because you had this hot heat on your hair going through your hair. But the purpose of that is it would actually take the texture of whatever your hair was. And mine technically was naturally curly because I was born that way. And that's why probably my mother had a lot of hard time combing, because it would just curl on its own, all kind of different directions. So with this hot comb going through your hair, it straightened the hair. So then you end up with a straight do, just like this one here. So the hair is straight, and then there you go, bouncing around with this nice light, straight hair. And I always like to see it blow, press and curl just to see, well, how long is it? Because I like having my hair kind of long. So we have this nice press and curl. The only disadvantage of the press and curl, sometimes it just for me wouldn't last long enough because if I just simply walked in a fog, walked in the rain, sweated out, if I was exercising, my hair would start unstraightening, it would start returning to the natural state of having its natural curl pattern. And then it would be like, especially after going to a hairdresser and then you're like, man, I paid good money and now my hair is boom, back to this curly state. Sometimes in the rain or anything humidity, it would get so curly tight that I would look like a boy. So I remember being in school and I was just, I just hated that. You go to school, your hair all nice and pressly curled, and then by the end of the day, it's this tight mini thing. And that was before the afro, so it was just this tight thing. Later, by the time we got to the afro, probably would have been a cool thing, but I wanted it long. So that's the only disadvantage about press and curl is trying to keep it from getting wet from anything, sweat, rain, whatever. So anytime it rained, I had to have my rain scarf on just so I could hopefully it'll last a couple days if it rained outside, that is. So then eventually I got into this perms. I don't even know how that happened. I don't know if I started thinking about it, if my mom started having perms because I had perms way back, way back. So that was kind of cool because then getting a perm, they had to put some chemicals in my hair and then it would make it nice and straight. And then the best part about that is it lasted longer because the rain didn't affect it like a regular press and curl would because these chemicals was helping keep my hair nice and straight and it was nice and curly and they would put it in different styles and all kind of stuff. Even with the press and curl, they would put in different styles too. They would take little hot rods, metal rods, and put those in the fire and then curl the hair to whatever fashion style they would want to do it. So with the perm, they would put, after they put the chemicals in there, they would also put them in special rollers and then that way it'd be nice and curly based on whatever fashion style I had wanted to be in. So the cool part about that, it was curly or straight, depending on what style I was trying to go for. Usually it was curly because I usually had some kind of curl do, depending on the fashion we were doing then, because depends on what was going on in the world, updos, curls, bobs, whatever. So the only negative part about that is that you were putting chemicals in your hair. And sometimes would have a situation where it was in a perm. Cause I remember one time, it seemed like the half of my side of my head fell out or something. So one side's all fabulously long and the other was short. And I don't know, it was something with the chemicals that did something there. Because sometimes the hairdresser might accidentally put too much in your hair. And I've seen many friends of mine where their hair all fell out because of that or got burned or whatever. So that was a really hard one psychologically when your hair starts doing these weird things and you're like, oh my gosh, I lost my hair and you didn't pay money for it. So because of that, once I started seeing, this perm thing is not such a good thing, and then started getting older, where I started thinking about, I'm putting these chemicals in my head, which means these chemicals are going in my hair, but they're going to end up in my brain, in my body. So if you're putting chemicals in your body, it's being absorbed, no telling what kind of change is happening to the cellular parts of your body, causing cancer, causing other kinds of ailments. You just don't want to put nothing unnatural in your hair that's going to affect the health of your body. So I said, I need to get away from this. So then I flipped over to a natural hair journey. So then there were no chemicals in my hair and my hair was in its natural state. So this is just one picture of many. So this is almost like a little mini afro, almost close to akin to what I was talking about when it really shrinks up and it looks like I was a boy. I mean, when it looks like a boy, it's super tight. I mean, you can't even get a comb or nothing through there. You have to wet it down to loosen it up a little bit. So here during the natural hair journey time, I still did some washing, had the hairdresser would wash it and blow dry it. When she would wash it and blow dry it, it will look similar to the previous picture you just saw, because it can just be still just a straight, just like that. But then again, at the same time, it'll start shrinking if I get into a rain, walk, exercise, whatever it is I'm going to do. And then the afro came out. If I had thought about it, I should have put an afro picture on here because probably, if you don't remember, if you look back at our, well, anyway, when I was married, I had a big afro. So when I was younger, I had super afro. I mean, it was super big, super big. So then I would pick that out with a comb and it would just be really big. Same thing. It would could start off today with, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches of hair out here. And then if I'm sweating or the rain would come or something, that the afro would shrink, shrink, shrink. The only cool part about that, it was supposed to be an afro, so it was all good. The disadvantage is I wanted it to be a big afro, not this small, shrunken, boyish looking afro. Anyway, so then I also during that time I would have them braid the hair, and it would just be braids almost like I had when I was a girl. In fact, the one time, I wish I really had a picture of that. I can't remember where those pictures are. I had a hairdresser that would braid my hair all the time, and she would put extensions in it. But then it was one of those epiphany. I was starting to get tired of putting extensions in because extensions are hair that's not my own. That I went to the store, bought the hair, and had the braider in braid that extension of hair into my hair so it'll make my hair look longer. Mainly, it wasn't so much for making it look longer as for making it to stay longer so I can walk in the rain, go swimming, sweat, exercise, and it would never shrink. It would always be this nice, fabulous look of hair. The only disadvantage with that is once the hair starts growing again, because your hair is always growing, then eventually you'll start seeing the new hair coming in extensions, and it could be a separation there. So you'd have to make a quick change when that happens. It takes a few weeks to do that, though, at least for my hair, even though my hair grows a lot. So I think I was getting tired of doing this whole extension thing because I mean, I always had to go buy the extensions from XYZ store, bring it to her, and then she would do the hair. And it would take hours to do that, hours, hours, and hours to sit there while she did my hair. So epiphany came through. This is weird because that'd be a Holy Spirit thing. I was like, I'm getting tired of doing this, but I don't want to. I don't want to have it in such a way that I don't have to keep doing this sweat, hair, shrinking thing. So the Holy Spirit told me while sitting in one of my hairdressers, just have her. I'm trying to remember. Is it actually braided? Yeah, it seemed like, yeah, the hair was braided naturally with no extensions in it. It was completely braided. And it would be braided in all kind of different styles. Sometimes it would be cornrows, sometimes it would be all kind of different designs. Sometimes it would just be a straight braid where you have it individually, look almost like this, individually braided out or whatever. But what the difference was not about the style, because the style was always beautiful, because this particular hair braider I had, she would just whip up a style, and I just like, whatever you fix me, I'm good with that. And I would walk out with this fabulous do. But with the braiding without the extensions, what I had her do was I had her to put little beads on the end, just like you see little girls with beads on the hair. They're all different multicolors. So I had her put beads on the end of the hair so that they would not be undone and then they would be loose. So the beads were there to keep the hair from being undone. But I had her doing it all black so that it could look more adult-ish. So I had to put in all black instead of all the colors like a little girl. So that's what the Holy Spirit said. Yeah, just do it like you see all the little girls have theirs, but put black beads instead of multicolors. So that way I still looked halfway adultish, halfway professional, because I still had to work, because you don't want to be going to work and your hair is looking all kind of crazy. So anyway, so that long short is always, like I said, about the weather base. So that's where the natural journey got into. And then I went to a natural hair party where I met this hairdresser, and she was encouraging us on how to maintain our hair, what to put in it, what not to put in it, that kind of stuff, because you only want to put natural products in your hair because it's natural, because you don't want to put, like I was just talking about, chemicals. So with her, I moved into where I'm doing now and wearing locks. So these pictures are in reverse order, but this first picture over here is when I first started the locks. So what she did is she would start it off as a twist. So she would twist my hair, meaning somehow she would take 2 strings of hair and twist it. Instead of braiding it, it was twisting it, and then it would just hang there. So the thing is, the reason why we started that was the way to start the hair into locking, because once you keep it in a twist long enough, it'll start locking. But in the beginning, it was done just to see, first off, do I want to do this lock thing? Because man, it took me some years to even think about, do I want to have my hair locked? Because to me, it meant locked, really locked, because I'm a person that like to change my hairstyle all the time. I can't go for weeks and weeks and days and months with the same exact hairstyle. I gotta always flip it, change it, cut it, not even cut it, just moving it up and down, twisting it, doing something to it to make it look different based on my mood or however the hair pattern wanted to flow that day. So she put me into having it twisted first so I could even see if I even like how that feel, because it's almost like a test. Because a twist is like it's the step before doing the lock. So I was loving it, man. So than this because it was looking so good. And I always hated it when I had to untwist it so that she could retwist it again. Because like, oh man. So eventually, after a few months, then I said, nah, keep it. Let's just go on with this party. Because the real reason, besides seeing the being locked into the lock style, because that's what I thought locks meant. It's going to be, you are locked, meaning once that style starts, the only way you can unlock it is you need to cut all your hair off. I mean, all your hair off. Like it has to be almost bald to get the whole lock out. If you decide, oh, I'm tired of this locking thing. And I started this lock journey back in October 2013. So I've been doing this for 11 years. So I said, oh, I don't want to be locked into that. And then at that time, well, not even at that time, but before that time, locks to me looked kind of crazy. They looked unkept. I didn't like that because I grew up during a time when Whoopi's hair, when she first became locked, was just not attractive to me at all. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. That just looked nasty. So now her hair, she got the bomb. She really got the locks going on. But anyway, but in the beginning, it was like, locks just look uncivilized to me. So like, I'm not trying to go there. So it took me a little while to even think about going there. But then I was watching my girlfriend at church, man. She had these locks going on and she lives she lives in Tennessee now. But she had her locks going on and another girl's friend too that is in Cleveland now. Also, their locks was looking bomb because they were changing them, especially the one that's here in Cleveland. She changes it all the time. And I said, oh man, wait a minute. Maybe I can do something with that, because it's longer and you can do some stuff with it. I don't know. So once I got past this twist stage, I had her start locking it. And my hair locked quick. Everybody's hair locked differently because we all got different curl patterns, different lengths, and depends on how you start. And even my hairdresser told me I'm going to go through an ugly stage. And I was like, okay, I'm ready for that because I've seen it in other people when they're first starting. Their hair look kind of weird, almost like you got a spiky look, or it just depends. Everybody's curl pattern is different. Everybody's journey is different. But for me, somehow, she was like, man, you never went through an ugly stage. And I was like, wow, that was kind of deep. And I don't know if she said because she's guessing that maybe because I started when my hair was a little longer as opposed to starting it when it was short. So that might have helped me. I don't know. I'm just saying God helped me out and then go to the ugly stage. I was prepared for the ugly stage. And I even prepared my husband because, I just thought about that. That was another issue. When I told my husband I wanted to lock it, he was kind of like, I don't know about that, because he probably was thinking the same thing, you really want to do that? And I even told him I was going to go through this ugly stage. So, you're going to be seen with me in public with my hair looking, I don't know, some kind of way. Thank to God, I'm praising God. I'm not going through the saying I started because my hair was longer. Maybe that made the difference, is that I didn't go through this ugly stage ever. So it just kept getting longer and longer, and it locked quick. I mean, about 3 weeks, it was already locking because I already noticed that it was locking every time I had to untwist it. Because I was like, we got to make a decision here because this hair is trying to say, look, I want to be locked. I want you to be locked. We want to do this, and it did. So I went from this shorter style, and these pictures here are showing a longer one. So I have albums showing how it gradually grew, but I went from this short what I just said, twisted stage to eventually all kind of different things because, I like to change my hairstyle. So it got longer and longer and longer. So here, this particular style here with the wavy is because of braiding. Because sometimes when, like I said, I change it up all the time. Every time I go to the hairdresser, she always wants to ask me what you want me to do now, or she'll say, I can do this, you know, I can do an updo, I can do this. She does a bunch of stuff, just like the braider I used to have back in the day, but she's a natural hair stylist. So this style here, because every style I wear is basically a style for another style. So this style is actually this wavy style right here is actually the result of her having braided it. So she took the locks and braided just like a normal braid, 3 strands, 3 locks, and braided it. And then she would put little black rubber bands at the bottom just so to make sure they don't get undone. So I would wear that style, and I love that style too. Sometimes I don't wish I had put one of those here, but it doesn't matter because that'd be too many pictures. I got so many pictures, you guys would be kind of tired of looking at me. But anyway, so that style, just a regular style of braiding. The hair is kind of flat down but long, or whatever length my hair is at that time. And it's just braided. And I will wear that probably for a good month, maybe longer, because I just love how it feels, because it just feels really good when it's braided. And then I start unbraiding it so that it can get to the next style, which is this wavy look. So then it gets wavy and it looks like that for several weeks or as long as I want to have it there. Then eventually I'll wash it. And then it is the craziest thing, and I'm using that word craziest thing, amazing thing about hair, at least my hair. And I'm sure some others have said this too, because at my hairdresser, my current natural hairdresser says the same thing, that the thing about wearing locks, unlike when I had the natural look with just the total natural look, unlocked. Okay, let's go with that verbiage. Um, is that the hair, when it rains, it curls up and it goes back to its natural curl pattern. When I'm wearing locks, regardless of what style I have, if I wash it, go in the rain, yeah, wash it or go in the rain, mainly washing it because I'm going to full wash, rinse, whatever style it was, it goes straight. It doesn't get curly. It doesn't shrink. It goes straight and fully the length of whatever my hair length is at that time. So that's the opposite of what I was accustomed to. I was like, whoa. So if I got a certain hair like pattern going on, it's almost like I don't want to get it wet if I don't want it to be straight. So it's going to be reverse than the other way. Like I don't want to get it wet because it's going to curl. And now I don't want to get it wet because it's going to get straight. So it's so crazy. So I have to plan out how long I want to have a particular style. So I always save the straight to the end. Like, okay, good. I'm good with the first off, whatever I just said, it was braided. Then now we got the wavy look. So then I'll take the wavy look. And then eventually I need to wash that out because the hair is still always growing. So as the hair is still growing, you'll see the new growth coming in and it needs to be rolled into the rest of the hair so it can remain locked, because any new hair that comes in is not locked. So any new hair has to be rolled in so that it can be locked with the rest of the hair. Otherwise, I'll have massive hair on top of my hair that's woo, going all over the place and it's not locked. It'll be just like it was without me having had a locked hair, just the whole natural. I was like having an afro on top of my locks sometimes. So can't let it go that far. So anyway, so it would come out of the wavy, wash it, then it'd be straight for whatever number of weeks I want to do. Then I go back to the hairdresser and then she does another fabulous style for me depending on what I want to do. So now this third picture here, it's actually kind of curly. And I do that when I actually take the locks, the straight locks after they've been washed, the straight locks, and actually put them in knots. They're also called Nubian knots, but you can make any kind of knots. So I just make any kind of knots. I just literally take the lock and I twist it because I got to roll in the new hair, the new hair that I was telling you about that's growing. So I roll in the new hair so that it's fully, the new hair is going to be locked. And then I actually twist the hair around. Man, I wish I could just show that because I'm like, wow, it's kind of hard to tell you how to do it. Okay, let's just say this. I take the hair, that individual lock, and I put it in some kind of shape where it's actually a, a knot. So I'll roll it, tie it around each other, and then I'll actually put a knot in it, almost like a real slip knot, a real knot, so that I can take it back out. So we got a bunch of little knots all over my head, but it's a whole nother style. That style is fabulous. Gonna get these little knots and my hair short. Because then this is where I can go from short and long, short and long, sometimes short, sometimes long. So if I feel like I'm in a short style, I can put these little knots in, I can put the braids in, whatever it is. So I put the little knots in, and then after whatever number of weeks, it's like, okay, we good, let's go on to the curly look. So then I'll take the knots out, and the hair falls just like this one, and it's a little wavy and long and curly. So it's just like, wow, like I had rollers or something in it. Like, nope, it's just curly. Man, I wish I put this other picture on because the hair that I have now, okay, I told you it's in these pipe cleaners. So that's why the hair looks shorter because it's so wrapped around. Each lock is wrapped around a black pipe cleaner. And then at the end, I don't even know if you can see these little black where the pipe cleaners clipped here so they won't unravel. Once this is done in a few weeks, because in a couple, maybe 3, 4 weeks from now, because I like to plan my hair around what's going on the calendar if I'm getting ready to go to somewhere, go to a party, or go on a trip or something. So that's how I plan my hairdos based on my lifestyle with what's on my schedule. When I take this down, the hair is going to look like corkscrews. So it's going to be super curly tight, going to look like corkscrews because you think about that, these are wrapped around a pipe cleaner. So it's going to look just like that without the pipe cleaner. So it'll be nice, another loosey do. Now that do, of course, I won't wear but so long because eventually now it's totally natural again. And if I walk in a rain or do something, it's gonna go straight, just like I told you, gonna turn straight. But that lasts a long time, long as I don't do something like that. So and through all these styles, I'm still able to wash and dry these hairs, other than when I get to the final stage, like the curly or corkscrew, this hair style and that style, because nothing's holding the hair back. So if it rains and I'm walking in, they're going to be straight. If I'm in the corkscrew method, it's going to be straight. So I got to plan the hair wash and what I'm going to do when I get to those styles, because those styles are usually set up for, I don't know, a trip or somewhere going on, somebody's wedding, who knows, whatever it is going on. So, so in a few weeks, I'll be in a curly style. So you'll see that curly style on one of our later shows. We'll be talking about something else. So you'll see what I'm talking about the curly look. So anyway, so this last one here is just actually, yeah, that's the braided look right there. Okay, so I had her, it was one of the times I said, I want my hair away from my face, probably because it was summertime, I wanted it away from my face. And it's really weird because it seems like if my hair is either touching me or touching my face, I have a tendency to want to touch my hair. And I don't get that. I'm like, why am I touching my hair? Why am I touching my hair? So if it's short, if it's away from my head or something, it's almost like I forget I have hair. But if it's long, like this or that, I'm always touching with my hair. It's a real unconscious thing. And I've seen other people doing it, twisting their hair, like, why are we touching our hair? So I don't get it. So I started to discover that if it's away from my face, it's almost like my brain has to forget that it's there, because I don't know why it's doing that. It's not a worry thing, because I would do it if it was tied up. It's just something about the hair touching me. I need to touch it. So here it's braided. So this is braided. I'm glad I put this in here. It's actually my, if you want to call it my professional shot, but it's a shot I use as a author. So it's the one I use for all my books. So this is the one I use for that one. So she's actually has it braided, corn rolled back, so it's away from my face. And then the rest of the hair is braided with each other. Yeah, because you can see it's kind of braided. So it's braided. So then that way it's back and it's longer and it's away from my face and it's braided. That's why I kind of like it, because it just, the way it falls is just kind of cool. So then once I unbraid it, then this part will be kind of wavy up here. And then this part will be wavy just like this, but it'll have a little different look because it's flat up there and she has it corn rolled. So it'll have a slightly different look than this one, because this one was braided from the root. And this one's not totally braided from the root. It's corn rolled on top, and then back when the hair goes back down, then it's braided the rest of the way. So I'll have two looks to that one. Man, wish I had a picture to show what that looked like after taking it out. But I'm saying this is how I roll. So I have an initial style, whatever that original style is, to do whatever, so that I can go swimming, go to a trip or something like that. Because then, like with this hair here, man, I can get in the pool, I can do whatever else, and I don't have to worry about it. It'll still look just like this. So just wash that out, wash the chlorine out, wash the dirt out, wash exercise sweat out, whatever. No big deal. It'll still look like this. And same with this one here. And then but that's not the final plan. It's just going through 2 or 3 different stages. So um, yeah. So my hairdo is usually a hairdo leading to another hairdo to another hairdo to the final straight hairdo. And then when it's straight, then I go to the hairdresser and we start all over again with some other new style. So that's how I roll. Anyway, so this hair journey, oh my gosh, as women and as men also, we have to remember that why are we doing our hair like this? Because, media always wants us to look a certain way, no matter what your race is or whether what. Media is always saying your hair should look just like this, whatever, whatever. If you're a young person, you should have long hair. If you're a older person, your hair should be short. Here, me, I like my hair long, and I'm 68 years old, which is definitely contrary to what others would say as an older person, but I like it long. But at times I like it short too, because right now it's short. It's short, feels kind of good. I don't have to do anything with it. It's off my neck. So I just go back and forth between the two. And then it's just a matter of we just want to look good. And then, we want to, media wants us to look a certain kind of way. So why are we doing our hair this way? What are we doing with this? Probably putting chemicals in it, altering what God has already did to our hair. He gave us all natural hair, the whatever it was, whatever color is, or whatever. And we have a tendency to go in there and change it to certain colors, certain lengths, certain textures that we weren't born with. So we have to always think about women, especially. What are we doing with the hair? Yes, we definitely want to be looking presentable, because if you're walking with God, we are an ambassador for him. So we don't want to be looking all kind of wild and crazy. The only one that kind of got away with that was probably with John the Baptist. He was kind of wild and crazy. That was his character. But I'm just saying, we want to be presentable, neat, an excellent representation of God so that others can come to know him just because we're there. But at the same time, we don't want to be doing it because we're trying to look so fabulous. I don't know, whatever it is, unless you're in the field of fashion or model or taking pictures professionally, that kind of thing, that's a whole different level because that's a job. But just for us as just regular Joes going to work, living, think about why you're doing your hair the way you're doing it. Because our beauty should not come from our outward adornment. Okay, it's not about what we look like on the outside. It's look like what we're doing on the inside. So, such as hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. So it should be all about that. It should be about what's going on the inside. The inside should dictate, well, how am I dressing today? How am I hair going today? That should be what dictates it, not trying to look so beautiful with all his jewelry, with all his hair, with all our clothes or whatever, because that's what media is directing us to. And that's how I've always dressed during most of my years, of course, because, well, it's the fashion. That's what we're wearing. That's, hot pants, long dress, whatever, whatever's going on there. How does your hair should look, da, da, da. So let's just be conscious of the reason why we wear our hair, because it's really fun for me to wear my hair in all these different ways. Because like I said, I like to change it up. So this is putting it in this lock style has enabled me to do that. Now I wish I had got into the locks a lot earlier because the hair is totally natural, the way God gave it to me. And now it's all over the place. And then talking about hair. Okay, so then during those times, my hair started to get some white streaks in it. So I was getting older. And media definitely wants to hide the white streaks. They want you to buy these great dyes and stuff and color your hair so you can look so much younger, because gray or white hair makes you look older. And, that's not the game here. We want to look young until the day we die, even though we're 1,000 years old. So no, I never did that, because after going through that whole chemical thing with the perm, I said, I'm not trying to put the color up in my hair, because then again, that's another unnatural thing going into my head, going into my scalp, going into my body. I don't want to have any health issues because of something I want to do just because I want to look younger or look good, whatever my issue was. And then when I read the scripture, when it said gray hair is a crown of splendor, it is attained in the way of righteousness. So it's like, gray hair, white hair, let's keep that. I'm not trying to say I'm righteous, because I'm definitely not all the time. I mean, no one is. We are all flawed women. But it is a crown of splendor that God has placed on my hair. And I don't want to hide his splendor. So I wear the gray, and it's just I just love the way he has placed it in my hair, or just the way it goes. Because sometimes interesting because my hair is really just streaked back in white. But on certain days, if you push it a certain way, it looks like to know what the hairstyle is, it looks totally different on where that white is. And it's like, hey, whatever God says today, my crown looks like this today. And it's always looks lovely because it's his hair and it's showing his glory. And then it also talks about, even though this was talking in the beginning here about the glory of young men is their strength, and gray hair is the splendor of the old. I just want to apply it to women too, that our gray hair is the splendor of our maturity. Granted, there are a lot of people that because of heredity, they're getting gray hair when they're in their teens. And so that's probably a struggle for them trying to, oh my gosh, I got gray hair and I'm 16, 17, 18, 20 years old and they have to deal with that. So, but gray hair generally occur, gray and white hair usually generally occurs when you're getting older. I mean, I don't want to get into knowing about the science of all that, but let's just go with the gray hair is the splendor of the old and mature. So let's just wear our crowning glory for God and not for ourselves. So where was I going with that? So thank you for coming again to watch my little hair journey. And then in a few weeks, you'll see it nice and corkscrewly, you'll see the results. So this is what I was saying. You can see the black ends on the thing and the visual look of the pipe cleaner in my hair. So I just love it how God gives me this hair to just have fun with, just to just to work with, just to live. Because like I said, it depends on what my hair looks like, depends on what I'm trying to do in my life. Like I said, swimming, walking, running, whatever. So anyway, so thank you. I hope that you all have successful hair journeys, happy hair journeys, because sometimes hair journeys can be really stressful. Yeah, and probably should have talked about that, but we won't really go there. So thank you so much for coming, because next week we're going to talk about the weight loss journey and how God got me through that and has helped me maintain a healthy goal weight. See you next week.